Hello everyone and welcome back to Chronos Plays Tales of Rise. Today our livestock's ready, because it always is. But also we're on, well, in this place, on this random space station? Big circle? Oh wait, was there a skit?
I still can't get over what we saw happening outside the starship.
Creepy women? Yeah.
Our planet's really not doing too hot right about now.
I've only ever seen Rena from the surface of Dahna, so I figured it was just another round planet like ours. Still though, I never would have imagined Rena actually looked like that. And what's the deal with that giant flower coming out of it?
Magic.
Beats me. I have absolutely no clue. It's so surreal. It looks like a broken egg or something.
Yeah, pretty sure planet can
Rena
actually
and Dahna.
survive like that.
We were taught that both worlds were spherical bodies that floated amongst the stars in the heavens. But to think that they lied to us not only about the Sovereign and the crown contest, but also the form of our own planet.
Dohalim.
Okay.
Keeping
Who's
calm.
the wise guy that summoned us here?
Someone formidable enough to bring our starship along with us.
They must be here
Pretty
somewhere.
sure that was just
Let's
like a
find
tractor beam?
That beam of light joining Dahna and Rena. It was the Renans side that it first came from, right?
That's what it looked like. And then the Dahnan side responded.
Perhaps it was some kind of directive from the Renan homeworld? To reawaken the Wedge and Lenegis?
I would imagine so, yes.
Which would mean that whoever's behind all this is on Rena after all. But what are they after? Is it really worth going through all this trouble just to steal Dahna's energy?
Depends on what they're doing with
Try
it.
to stay calm. With so many
If
factors
they're
we don't
trying
understand,
to like
dwelling on it won't get
reform
us
Rena
anywhere.
to like an actual planet,
What
then
is it?
maybe.
No, it's just... Zephyr once told me the same thing. So much for me making progress, huh?
You made it this far, didn't you? You notice something, you change it. That's all anyone can do. But you can't stand still in the meantime.
Okay, no more skits. Let's take a look around the corner just in case there's treasure. There's no treasure. Alright, up we go, I guess. Or down. Probably up. Oh, there's two ups. Oh, this is the lower level? Oh, no. No, it's not. Central level. Okay. Just check over here real fast for anything we can loot. There's nothing. That's very disappointing. Hello? Oh, are you gonna be like an AI computer? You're totally gonna be an AI computer, aren't you? Alright.
This place looks a lot like that room we saw back in the Forbidden Zone.
Huh? What's that?
Oh, is that a brain? No. Oh, it's one of the red ladies!
It's one of those!
A red woman in disguise. Or is this their true form?
Yes.
So it was a trap?
Both. I feel like you should have them on either side, right?
It doesn't look like it can move.
That sucks for it. Stab it.
Tell me, are you the one who brought us here?
You can
That
sing?
is correct.
Oh, hi.
It is unusual for me to have unexpected guests these days.
It can talk.
What are you?
Hevrect 35.
Hevrect, 35.
Hevrect 35. Is that your name?
Correct.
Or if you're like
What is this
identification,
place?
but sure.
No, wait, before that. Just what exactly are you? Are you somehow associated with the Red Women?
Before I answer, I have a question for you. How did you all arrive in this sector?
The red woman teleported us.
We did not come to this place by choice. Our ship was brought here against our will, by a group of red women who can shift into the same form as you.
In that case, We can assume my brethren who serve the Great Spirit have deemed you all to be a threat most grave.
What do you mean, serve?
What do you mean,
Are
Great
you
Spirit?
saying there really is someone more powerful than the Red Women, pulling their strings?
What did you do to us?
I examined your bodies. You have not been harmed in any way.
Your voice sounds familiar.
Identifiers detected. The Sovereign and Maiden are among you. However, you aren't under its control. I see why they viewed
is the
you as a
thorn thing
danger
the Great
now.
Spirit?
Oh, goody. More riddles.
Do you think we can trust this thing?
Or not.
Maybe.
Maybe our best chance at a ticket out of here. Let's at least hear it out.
I shall now answer your questions. We are Helganquil.
Gwenkill. Will.
The Red Women you encountered previously are a form of disguise we employ from time to time, but not our true form.
Yeah, that creepy.
Helganquil?
You are on Dake Phasol, a celestial base which drifted here by accident. The will of Rena's Great Spirit no longer reaches us here.
Cool.
Since my sudden separation from the Great Spirit's influence, I have used any and all means to extend my lifespan. As I have done so, I have also set out to monitor and research Rena and Dahna from this position.
A question. What is this Great Spirit of which you speak? Is it something that rules over your kind?
Correct. The Great Astral Spirit is a large mass of astral energy that fills all of Rena, one with its own will, a voice we cannot refuse.
A voice? Just like Dahna.
The voice of the Great Spirit speaks to our hearts directly, and we have served it without question.
Blind
throughout
loyalty.
the ages.
Does that mean it was controlling your minds? Wait a second. Could this Great Spirit be the true sovereign of Rena?
The true ruler of Rena. It could be the same thing that's controlling Volron.
Is Volron being controlled?
Wait, back
What?
up. You're telling us this great spirit of yours is the one that ordered you things to harvest the astral energy from Dahna? I'm not sure I believe that.
Why not? We've already made contact with the will of Dahna back in the Wedge, and in the Forbidden Zone on Lenegus.
Volron doesn't
If
look like he's
Dahna
being
has a
controlled.
will
He
of
just
its
kind of looks
own,
like an
I
asshole.
don't see why Rena wouldn't.
Maybe not, but think about what you're saying. If Dahna has a will like Rena, then that would mean that we've been controlled by the voice of Dahna this whole time, just like these things.
No, you've been
Dahna's
controlled by
will
the voice of
hasn't been forcing us
Chronos.
to do anything.
Yeah, but
Let's assume that what Hevrect 35 claims is true, and that we are indeed cut off from both
Can I
planets.
just call you Hevrect?
Even if we
Or
had previously been
35?
under the control of Dahna's will, we would have noticed now that we are disconnected.
Your fear is not based in logic. The voice of Dahna is much smaller and quieter compared to that of Rena's Great Spirit. Rena's astral energy is amassed at its center, whereas Dahna's is shared among all its constituents. So thinly is that energy spread that it cannot coalesce and formulate a will. Our findings here indicate as much.
Which explains why we felt its will where we did. The Wedge and Lenegus are where so much of that energy had been accumulated.
The Great Spirit's desire is to consume all astral energy, and the pursuit of that desire is why you see Rena in its current state. As a
Okay.
result, it has turned its attention toward Dahna.
Is that why the crown contest is necessary? So that the Great Spirit can feed off of Dahna?
Indeed, and it was to that end that we Helganquil devised the crown contest. Had the initial spirit channeling from 300 years ago succeeded, all of Dahna's astral energy would have been seized.
Oh,
But the ceremony
kind of figured
failed.
as much, right?
Lenegus was severely damaged, and you lost both the Sovereign and the Renasalma.
Correct. A change in plan was required to ensure the spirit channeling's success. However, recreating the Renis Alma required a vast amount of energy. That is why we turned to Dahna.
So that was the real purpose behind the crown contest. An efficient means to harvest the necessary energy from Dahna.
This is all happening because of me.
Well, no, well, maybe
Nevertheless,
not really.
you still
It's happening because
haven't
they
answered
did
one
it.
of Alphen's
What?
original questions. Just why have you brought us here to your base, Hevrect 35?
First, it was to confirm the identities of you, my unexpected visitors. Second, it was to ascertain whether you would be likely to accept my request.
Oh, a side quest?
A request? But what could someone like you want us to...
I wish for you all to slay the Great Spirit.
Okay.
I'm sorry, did you just ask us to kill your master?
Not really his master anymore.
I did. It is in your best interest that you do so, I might add.
Oh, I know.
What makes you say that?
Have you... What? Have you noticed the...
Renegade
What?
has entered the final stage of the spirit channeling plan. As we speak, Dahna's energy is being harvested en masse and transmitted to Rena. If nothing is done about the Great Spirit, it will not be long before all is lost.
You're saying the destruction we saw earlier is just the beginning? That...
Yeah,
We
that makes
won't let
sense.
that happen.
Why do you want us to kill the Great Spirit so badly? Is it to save our world? To free you, Helganquil, from under its control? Why?
No. My primary concern is validating our findings and analysis, which have taken many years to realize. As such, it is my desire to see how your actions impact and change these systems. However, I will not deny that vengeance also plays a part.
Because it's sweet, right?
Vengeance? For what?
In spite of our long service to the Great Spirit, our species is on the brink of extinction.
You mean... you're dying?
At this stage, it would be wise for you to talk with the others. Ask them what you need to know. Once you have your answer, return to me. If you agree to help, I shall fix your ship.
What do you mean others? Like the red women? Are they here?
Others? Just how many of you are there?
I am the only Helganquil who inhabits Dake Phasal.
Okay.
Hey! Hey!
Bye.
It's no use. I think it's done talking to us.
Okay.
Let's take a
What
look
is
around.
what is even that? It's not a cover. So why is that even there? What does that do? That does nothing. It partially covers you? Find the others. Are you talking about the red women? No, it can't be because you said you're the only one here.
Seriously be buying anything that creature told us, right?
I thought it was an
it's practically
android.
blackmailing us into doing its dirty work.
To be honest, the conversation went on for so long, I'm not sure I understood all of it. How about you, Dohalim? Were you able to follow it at all?
I was
At the very
daydreaming.
least, everything it said about the Renan Great Spirit adds up. At the end of the day, this whole chain of events comes back to astral energy. That being said, had we not previously encountered the will of Dahna, I suspect I would find its story much more difficult to believe.
The spirit of Rena wants to see Dahna completely destroyed.
Or drained. It just wants
Why?
astral energy, right?
Astral energy is supposed to be a force that creates and shapes the world.
It doesn't matter. I don't care if we're up against an entire world or what its game is. We're not going to let it destroy
So,
Dahna.
crash
Right.
Linnaeus into Rena?
There is one other thing that concerns me. How the Great Spirit, the Helganquil, and the Crown Contest are all part of a centuries-long plan is clear enough. But what about the Renans? How do they factor into all this?
Now that you mention it, and all that talk, Hevrect 35 never even brought up the Renans once. And as for the Helganquil, we never did find out just what they are either.
Maybe it had a reason for keeping its silence. Or perhaps there's even more going on. Maybe the others will shed more light on the matter.
Maybe.
Let's find out.
Yeah? Skits? No. Okay. I'm assuming we have access to the other levels then? Lower level. Okay, we can go there now. star. Oh, fast travel point added. Okay. Check the center just in case there's items there. Oh. Fast travel point added. You can't use it. Okay, that's fair enough. I am here to loot your shit if you have anything. I am beginning to suspect that you do not have anything. Gotta admit, super disappointing. Fine. Will not loot you, big babies. Just give me all your stuff. Any money? Hi.
Who are they?
What is it?
Oh, my apologies. It's just been so long since I've seen any humans from the outside world.
Are you a Renan?
Oh, yeah, I guess so. The Overseer told us to answer any questions you might have.
Okay, what did you
Whatever
mean by
want
that?
to know, we'll tell you as much as we can. But be quick. Our subjects are undergoing a dramatic shift that we don't want to miss.
What?
What a weird guy.
Yeah.
He must have meant Hevrect 35 when he mentioned that Overseer.
And what was that about subjects? You don't think he meant Dahna and Rena, do you?
Well, if he did, he's gonna get stabbed. I don't care about
There
Renans.
isn't anyone else we can talk to. I guess we should ask around here.
Anything to loot? You guys have nothing here? What kind of space station is this? Hi, lady. Nice futuristic sci-fi keyboard.
Have you guys lived up here in Dag Fazel with Hevrect 35 for a long time?
Yes. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head just how long it's been, though. We regularly go into stasis, so our sense of time has gotten rather out of whack over the years.
Why are you all even here in the first place?
Originally, this station was where we worked to perform maintenance on Lenegis from the outside.
We heard that the facility ended up in its current location due to an accident.
Oh, it was terrible. Apparently there was some kind of accident, and when help never arrived, they presumed the entire facility had been destroyed.
And you've been working for Hevrect 35 ever since?
Well, at first we thought that there was nobody else inside the facility, but then it turned out the Overseer was there all along.
Like in that
What
little
do you
pod
mean?
thing?
The Helganquill have the technology to cloak themselves around us Renans.
Yes.
As long as they don't do anything obvious, a Renan won't see one, even if it's right in front of them.
Yeah.
Which would explain why Shionne and I failed to notice the Red Women previously. Do they employ an astral art of some sort?
I haven't been able to scientifically confirm it for myself, but from what I understand, the type of cloaking they use is primarily achieved through mechanical means. In addition, they also used hypnosis devices and information control to get us to do what they wanted without being detected. It's a pretty sophisticated operation, especially since it avoids any unnecessary conflict. I have to imagine
Jealous.
that's how Lenegis is still run.
But aren't the Helganquill themselves controlled by the Great Spirit? If so, why aren't Renans affected by it in the same way?
The Great Spirit's mind control only works on Helganquill, so they had to employ other means to manipulate us Renans.
You act like this didn't affect you personally. If I was you, I'd be mad as hell at their deceptions.
I mean, sure, I was surprised when I first found out about it, but it happened so long ago.
And I'm dead inside.
Hevrect 35 has clearly ceased concealing itself, though. Why is that?
Who can say? My guess is it just got bored, or maybe even a little lonely.
Don't you want to go back home to Rena or Lenegis? Our ship is going to be fixed pretty soon. You could ride with us.
No way. If we went back after knowing the truth, they'd either just brainwash us or purge us outright.
Yeah.
After
Yeah,
all
they
this
would.
time,
You wanna go to
there's
Dahna?
nothing to be gained from going back. We've all agreed it'd be best to simply stay here and watch everything unfold.
Could also just go
instead.
to Dahna.
Things are going just fine with the Overseer. Not that it'll be around much longer. It can't extend its life any further. That said, I'm sure it's pleased to see the final stage of the plan before it passes on, though.
Thank you for answering our questions.
Anything else? Why don't you just go to Dahna? Hi.
Can we talk to you for a few minutes?
Sure. It's going to be a while before the two planets undergo their next shift, so I can talk until then.
Please, tell us what you know about the Helganquill.
You mean the Overseer's species? I can't say I know much about
Yeah, what
Well,
would you
for
think we
starters,
meant by
where'd
that?
they come from?
Where else? From Rena, obviously.
From Rena? Wait, are you telling us those things live right alongside the Renans down there?
Of course not. There's really no such thing as Renans in the first place.
Okay, what?
Excuse me?
Oh, I thought the Overseer explained everything.
Nah, he told his ass, you fuckers.
Apparently not.
Please, tell us more.
So is that what that guy
Well,
meant?
In a nutshell, the Renans were originally created from Dahnans by the Helganquill.
And then they enslaved their
But if
former
that's
species?
true, then that would mean there aren't any people on Rena.
I kind of figured that one.
There aren't. But there are Helganquill. That's what the name literally means in their language. People of Rena.
But what need could they possibly have to create a whole new race of people?
It was
Funsies?
a way to bolster their dwindling workforce. I trust you're aware that the Helganquill are on the verge of extinction, yes?
We did just kill 3 of
In
them.
essence, we were created to carry on their work for the Great Spirit after they all die. They gathered Dahnans who had an affinity for astral arts and proceeded from there. That's why we, as their descendants, can all cast arts, albeit to varying degrees.
Let me get this straight. Are you saying Renans were originally created from Dahnans that the Helganquill kidnapped?
Wait, that explains why almost nobody can use astro arts on Dahna now.
Helganquill technology is truly amazing. The way they alter their bodies is far less invasive than your conventional
When you say that with
surgeries.
a face like that, it
They
becomes
have these
extremely
tiny
creepy.
machines that are
Okay,
practically
hi,
invisible,
how's it
which they
going?
insert into their bodies and
Back up,
You
cameraman.
needn't tell us anymore.
How can you speak so calmly about all of this?
I guess I can see how, when viewed in a certain light, their ways may sound grotesque. But if you ask me, I think they ultimately did us a favor. They saved us from crawling the earth in ignorance. If it meant their hands had to get a little dirty in the process, then so be it. Anyway, the Helganquill are the real Renans. Personally, I don't think it's such a big deal.
I mean,
They're also mostly the ones behind what you see going on between the two planets. I think that covers just about everything worth knowing.
okay, so once again, crash Lenegus into
I see.
Rena.
Thanks for filling us in.
Next time, don't be so creepy about it.
Does he really expect us to believe that Renans never truly existed? How absurd.
Dohalim.
I mean, they do exist, they're just not
Just
you.
when I think we're getting to the bottom of it all.
Well, that's not
the
true
new
either.
revelation smacks
Right.
us in the face.
This happened generations ago, like before
And let's
even
hope this is our last
Alphen
revelation
was
for
up
a
there.
while.
So they reproduce and form their own Renans. It's not like, yeah, it's not like Dohalim was once a Dahnan or something like that they just reconfigured.
Do you know anything
his
about
great
a
great
spirit
great great
channeling
great great
plan?
grandparents maybe were?
If you mean the first plan from 300 years ago, then yes. Do you know what its main objective was?
Yes. It was to use Lenegus to siphon off Dahna's astral energy and send it to Rena.
Exactly. However, there were 2 problems we had to consider. First was how to collect and send such a large quantity of astral energy without it becoming sentient. Second, we had to figure out how to convert Dahna's energy so it would be compatible with Rena.
I take it the solutions to those problems were to use the wedge for the collection, and then the Sovereign and Maiden to convert the energy.
We have a winner. However, the first plan failed when the Sovereign was overwhelmed and became
Stab him,
frenzied.
Alphen.
The reason for that is because the Maiden lost control. I'm told he slaughtered many Renans in Helganquil that day.
Woohoo!
For the next plan, we tried to recreate the Renis Alma, but we didn't have nearly enough of the other non-dark astral energy types. To amend that, we set our sights on Dahna and implemented a system whereby we could extract energy from it.
And the crown contests began.
Correct. Since the Maiden had been the failing point in the previous plan, it was decided to replace her role with machinery to avoid further mishaps. A new sovereign had to be made as well. It was such tremendously difficult work, its success was dubious. But from the look of things, it would appear such worries were unfounded.
So that's what the purpose of
You know,
that room
that
we
lady
found in
was the only
Forbidden
person
Zone
I don't
was.
want to stab in this room.
What about the flower that sprouted from Rena?
Flower? Oh, that thing. That's the physical manifestation of all the astral energy that's been harvested from Dahna. As I'm sure you've noticed, it's quite a lot of energy. At this point, it's likely that it's become physically integrated with Rena's planetary structure.
Hevrect 35 mentioned that the spirit channeling plan is entering its final stage. Is that true?
It is. I never thought I would live to see
Oh,
the
you
day
might
with
not
my
if I
own
get a
eyes.
choice.
And yet here we are. Are we done talking now? If it's all the same to you, I'd really rather not miss anything that's about to happen.
Rip out his eyeballs. Chronos! What? I was not killing him.
He talks like the potential end of the world is just another day on the job.
You've got to remember that these guys have been living alone up here for a long time. Who knows what shape their minds are in?
Mush.
It feels like our whole world has been turned upside down. Is there anything we know that's still true at this point?
I still want to go to the training ground and do all
I'm
that
still
shit.
trying to process the fact that we Renans were created by the Helganquil, let alone the Sovereign and Maiden stuff.
Originally, it's not like
Let's take a moment to gather ourselves.
you yourself was
I
created
know
by
all of
them.
this is a lot to believe and take in, but I think it's fair to say that we've found the answers we've been looking for. Does everyone agree?
Right. Crash Lenegus
Agreed.
into Rena.
Though I'll admit that I never expected it to all boil down to Rena's great spirit being behind everything.
Everything that's happened, everything we've endured, it's all because of astral energy.
And to get that energy, the Great Spirit took control of the Helganquil. Then the Helganquil created the Renans, who went on to invade and rule over the Dahnans.
Jerks.
Plus, the reason the Great Spirit can't directly control the Renans as well is likely because they were originally Dahnans all along.
Either way, I think it's fair to say we've all had a lot to take in at once. Maybe too much, even. We should probably take it easy and rest our minds a bit.
I would love to do
Why
some
don't we all
fishing.
take some time to think things over before we decide on our next move?
That's a good idea, Kisara. If the Renan Great Spirit really is behind all this, then we've got a really big fight ahead of us. Because it's not just Dahna on the line, but Rena too. If we're going to do this, we need to be completely sure of ourselves.
I'm pretty sure.
So let's go ahead and break off for now. We aren't in any immediate danger, so we should be okay.
I mean, I think the longer that thing's draining
you don't
energy
wanna
from
be alone
Dahna
right
is
now?
probably
I
bad.
can ask you the same question.
I figured I'd get all my thinking in while walking around and checking up on everybody.
I'll go along with you. I'm interested to hear what's on everyone's minds, too.
Sounds good. Let's go find them.
Party disbanded.
Everyone's just gone their own way, huh?
Yeah, let's hit up each spot.
Can I teleport? God damn it, game. I really want to do like my accessories and my arena stuff in between. Hello? Have you been here this entire time? I'm good, thank you though.
Everything we thought we knew. It was all just a fabrication that the Red Women, that the Helganquil
We
made
can still
up.
call them Red Women. It's
Right.
easier for me.
Assuming we can believe anything that Hevrect 35 has told us, that is.
Well, if the names are anything to go by, it's possible the Helganquil could be behind the fruits of Helgen too.
But if Hevrect 35 was telling the truth, and this was all just one massive lie, does that mean everything we've done up until now has been pointless?
No?
No, I don't think so. Or at least I hope
What?
not. I think it just means we've lost our foothold for now. That's all.
Why would it be pointless?
Well then, if we've lost it, I guess we'll just have to find another. All of us together.
We literally
And if we
drove
can't find
out
one,
the
then
slavers.
we'll make a new one. End of story.
Make one,
And
huh?
made it here
I see.
to stop shit from happening
then.
again.
Count me in.
How would it be pointless? There's in no world would it be pointless. Shionne, heal him, I guess. There's a lot more of you fuckers around, apparently, than I thought. I thought there was just 3 of you. Thank you for the happy bottles. Like, seriously, I thought there was like 3 of you. But apparently there's much more than 3. Who's over here? Oh, you? What are you guys looking at? That seems... Yeah, it seems like a prison here. Hi, Kassar. How's it going?
Oh, it's you two. Does he seem like he's doing any better now?
Who?
He who? Oh, you mean Dohalim, don't you?
Haven't talked to him
I
yet.
know that we're all struggling to wrap our minds around it all, but he looked like he was taking it really hard earlier.
What do you think about everything we've learned? About the Renans and the Great Spirit and all that?
On some level, I'm not even really sure what to think, to be honest. I mean, the Great Spirit is like a huge natural disaster.
Ooh,
but
that's
with
sentient.
a mind and will of its own. But if that thing's hellbent on trying to destroy our planet, then the only thing left for us to do is stop it.
Yeah.
As for the Renans, I suppose my feelings on that are a bit more mixed.
Why?
How so?
Coexistence between Dahnans and Renans in Menancia is still a work in progress.
Yeah?
In my case, I think that's partly because deep down, I was still on guard around Renans.
Understandably.
So, to be told that they're like us, that they're actually just like us is, well, I guess it's a little deflating,
But it's-
to be honest.
You kept a pretty level head.
She does
You mean
that.
about the Renans? At the end of the day, the Helganquil and the Great Spirit are the ones who are responsible. But at the same time, I realize that not every Dahnan is necessarily
I
going
know,
to
but they
believe that
still
either.
did it.
I
Like,
know you're already aware of this, but the list of grievances the Dahnans have against the Renans is long, and understandably so.
yeah.
And if people then find out that they're all actually one and the same,
They're not really, though.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to take to it too kindly.
Even just among the Dahnans, I'm sure there'll be some who emerge with power and some who won't. I think if we can find a way to get rid of that imbalance, then we'll be in a truly good place.
Well, first we can try to figure out what to do about the existing conflicts we have.
Yeah. It'd be nice if one day people could learn to get past their hatred like Rinwell did.
It's no small task. We can't pretend like the past didn't happen and ask people to forget their very real pain and
Yeah,
suffering.
or let the people that did it go away scot-free.
Everybody has their reasons for feeling the way that they do. But if we just keep yelling at each other about it, we'll never move on. In a worst-case scenario, it might lead to even more people getting killed.
And we all have to figure out how to meet halfway.
Yeah, anyone
just
that
that,
was taking
To
part in
also
slavery
embrace each other's pain
gets
in a sense.
stabbed.
That's an interesting way of putting it.
It's true. Everybody has their own scars, their own trauma. The first step to healing those wounds is to put aside that hatred. It won't be achieved through reasoning, but I think it's a good first step, if nothing else. And now, I think I see a way to move forward. But to do that, first we need to make sure our planet isn't going to get wiped out.
Yeah, I'm not with you guys on that one. No, not the planet being wiped out, but you are speaking some very, very, very fantasy level idealistic freaking, hey, forget the fact that you guys were tortured and had your friends and family killed for astral energy and being enslaved and all that shit for years,
You folks seem awfully
300
calm.
years, just so we can all
Because
coexist.
after
No, fuck
everything we've
that.
seen, We don't have the energy.
Absolutely
to keep
not.
being shocked.
Crash
Well, you
Lennigus
holding up
into
well.
Rena.
That whole talk about the Renans looked like it shook you up a bit.
Yeah. I get this sinking feeling whenever I remember how Dahnan mages like my family were persecuted and died out. And now, I finally know why that is. But I was thinking, if Renans end up living together with Dahnans again, then mages won't be such an unusual thing to see on Dahna anymore, right? I know it's not as simple as all that, but Dahnans probably won't be so quick to let their guards down. And there might be Renans who still act superior because of their arts.
It wouldn't surprise me. 300 years of bad blood and prejudice isn't going to be an easy thing to overcome.
Yeah, I know firsthand just how much hatred can take hold in your heart once you let it in. But even so, I was still able to change. And if I can change, so can anyone else. So I was thinking maybe, I don't know, I could use my position as both a Dahnan and a mage to help bring both sides together.
Renwell.
That great spirit worries me too, though.
Man, the messaging in this game has
Dahna's
actually
will
completely
feels
lost
so
me.
warm and inviting. So why is Rena's will trying to destroy our entire planet?
Now that you mention it, Hevrect 35 and the other scientists here never really brought that up. Maybe they don't know either.
Maybe. But regardless, at the end of the day, Dahna's still our home. There's no way we can let it be destroyed.
We won't. We'll keep it safe no matter what.
It's not even like they're that technologically like superior to us anymore. We like have their tech. Like we have their armors, we have their spaceship. It's not like they hold the foot. They have the wedge thing, but we've already shut that down once, and we can do it again. It's just kind of, I don't know. It's very idealistic, and too almost like, I know it's a fantasy game, but it's so like far on the unbelievable side of like idealistic behavior they're expecting from Dahnans that have been enslaved for 300 years, that it actually is kind of, it's weird. It's like I kind of want to like pretend they're not saying this because it makes no fucking sense on an actual front of how absolutely absurd it is that they think that Dahnan should put aside their hatred and try to coexist with Renans. And yeah, for Renans to not act all superior and hey, maybe even stop enslaving people. But at the same time, even Menacea is still a slave colony. There's still slaves there. They're coexisting, sure, but they're still slaves as far as we're aware. They have that spirit shit embedded in their hands still, right? They have some more freedoms than like a normal slave would. I don't know. It's like,
I apologize for making you witness that.
Witness
You mean
what?
hearing the origins of the Renans?
Indeed. It's shocking to have so many things I thought to be indelible fade away in mere seconds.
Even I'm still not sure everything we've heard here is actually true.
Let's not delude ourselves. If what we've heard is a lie, it's a rather elaborate one. I can only imagine that you must have been constantly feeling like this, ever since your memory returned, Alphen. And you as well, Shionne. About your thorns, and being a maiden.
That's just part of being alive, don't you think?
Well, to say the least. But enough about me. I'm not concerned for myself. What concerns me is all of the other Renans out there.
When you say the other Renans, you mean the ones that are living on Lennigus or Dahna, right?
Correct. Even if we stop the Great Spirit from annihilating Dahna, our problems will still remain. Putting aside the untold state that Rena may be in, if we do not truly belong there, we will have to think long and hard about where it is that we wish to return to.
You guys can stay up on that little space station.
So, I guess your only real choices at this point are to either stay on Lennigus or come down to Dahna, huh? And right now, Lennigus might not even be a safe option.
Still fair.
And at the same time, Dahnans are hardly likely to embrace Renans with open arms. If the issue is forced, things could turn dire.
Oh, absolutely.
There is, after all, 3 centuries worth of hatred to overcome between us. And the victims of our rule have absolutely every right to feel animosity towards us Renans.
Hey, you're speaking facts here.
As the aggressors are irrelevant.
I didn't expect the former Lord of Menancia to be so down about people reconciling.
Menancia's fate was a stroke of good luck. There had been backlash over how it had been ruled, and I was blessed to have sympathizers among my ranks. Still, even now, there remain ardent dissidents.
But things can still change if you have the right people to help lead the way. Isn't that what you hope to achieve on Lenegis, after this is all over?
Indeed. I have fully accepted the burden of that responsibility. In that regard, I remain determined. On that note, I have something of a favor to ask of you, Alphen.
Does it crash Lenegis in the
What
Rena?
is it?
I wish for you to serve as a mediator so that the Renans can live on Dahna peaceably.
We'll see
As
what the
one
Dahnans
and
think of
only
that.
Blazing Sword, I suspect the Dahnans may listen to what you have to say when problems arise.
And I take it that you'll be the one to represent the Renans?
Yes. I realize that I'm asking quite a lot of you. However, the fact of the matter is that it will take time for Renans to re-enter Dahnan society without any bloodshed. That is why.
See, this is realistic
Same
for the
as
most
ever,
part.
Dahlim.
The other shit the other people
it
talk
too
about,
much?
not realistic at
No,
all.
Relax. You get so tense and formal when you're asking for a favor. Listen, there's no need for that. We're friends.
Did I have cat ears?
You're
Wait a
too
minute.
kind. I can see you were raised well.
Was I?
That's some high praise, Alphen.
Then I'll ask once again, this time just as friends. Alphen, will you help me?
You don't even need to ask. Of course I will.
Thank you.
Do I have cat? What is in my hair? Oh, was it just shadows? Like... Oh, that's really weird. Okay. Law, what's up, dog?
I still can't believe it, man.
You're not the only one still trying to make sense of all this. Believe me.
Really? You've never struck me as the type of guy to get hung up on these sorts of things.
Did you forget what happened back in Thistleum? Once my memories started coming back to me, I felt completely and totally lost.
Threw a pity party.
It was really
Understandable.
that bad for you?
Yeah, it was. But thanks to Law and everybody else, I remembered that I still had things out there worth fighting for.
Man, I think you might be a better guy than me, Alphen. All I can remember thinking was, when's this guy gonna get his act together?
Pretty sure you said
Law.
something like that, too.
I was too worried about repeating the same mistakes I'd made back with my dad, and running away from the truth. That was no way to live. And I've tried to stay strong, my way. But all this talk about other races and the world ending, if I can be honest with you guys, it's just all too much for me to handle right now.
I know this is going to sound strange coming from me, but maybe the key is not to worry too much about the big stuff.
I mean,
right
we
now.
still need to kill this Great Spirit thing,
I
right?
used to worry all the time about my thorns, for obvious reasons, but I never really opened up to anyone about them. And when I realized my visions pointed to a threat that was bigger than me, I didn't know what I should do or who to tell. But that's when I finally got it. You guys were all there for me, to teach me what's really important. I just had to open up and listen.
In other words, if you let the big picture stuff get you all muddled up inside, you'll begin to lose sight of what you really care about. Yeah, I think you're right.
The thing that's most important, what I really care about. All I want to do is protect the people that really matter to me, to fight for them. That's good enough, right?
That's good enough of a reason as any.
Not everyone is strong enough to fight.
Huh?
It's something your dad told me once when he was still alive. Law, you know you're strong enough to fight, and you're strong enough to protect the people you care about. Forget all the big stuff going on. Just don't lose sight of what you want to protect in the first place.
And the shading on my hair
Yeah.
there is very
Yeah,
weird.
I think it does.
Looks like a ribbon. Cat
It's
ears.
like a big weight's been lifted off my shoulders. I'll fight to protect the people
It
around
does
me,
sort of look like a ribbon
just
or
like I
something.
always have. I think that's best.
It's very distracting, whatever that
It
is.
sounds like everyone's learning from their past
like
and
red
using
highlights
it
in
to
my
create
hair
a
now.
better future for everyone.
What about you, Shionne? How do you feel about the origin of the Renans?
To be honest, I'm not really all that shocked, actually. I mean, I might be a Renan in the literal sense, but I've never really felt like one of them. Right now, it's kind of a mystery.
It's also kind of a strange take, right?
Because for a really, really long time, all I ever thought about was how I was going to die. Not if or when, but how. I thought I'd die alone. That fate had me in its steely grip. I would have never imagined that I'd be traveling with someone like you, fighting to save Rena and Dahna. I mean, how could I have? It's been going on for 300 years. All this tragedy and destruction. When you consider the Helganquil's part in all this, it's been even longer than that. It was Naori's hope that somehow, someone in the future would be able to stop it before it was too late. How it fell on us, of all people, to heed that call is a mystery.
That's how
I
the
don't
story was
think
written.
Naori was hoping that we would just stop the world from getting destroyed. She considered me, a Dahnan, as a real person. And she very much cherished her own people, too. I don't think she wanted the world to be saved, just so they could go back to hurting each other. Oh, maybe this is what she meant.
What?
Huh?
When we were talking to Kisara earlier, about all that stuff like everyone's needing to meet halfway and embrace each other's pain.
Yeah,
and
complete
suffering.
bullshit.
She said that the first step down that path was for each of us to put aside our own hatred.
Easier
That
for
means
one side,
forgiving other
completely.
people, even and especially before they forgive you.
Forgiving. So it goes both ways, right?
And we're gonna need to see some
Is that what
run-ins
you're
aside
saying?
from you two and that dude that's
Yeah.
dating a Dahnan
I
lady,
don't just mean forgiving things that happen
and like
in the
Menacea
past
people
either.
that are still
Conflicts will
helping
keep happening.
with the slavery system.
If we have any hope of
Like, we're
moving
still
on
gonna
and
need
building a better
some run-ins
future,
to step us
we
up
have
to
to
that
all learn
before it
to
actually
forgive each
seems
other.
viable at
You know,
all.
You're right. People can hurt one another without even meaning to. I know that better than most, thanks to these thorns.
It's not going to be easy getting past this pain. But if we can do it, I'm sure there'll come a time when we can all truly
At no
understand
point
each other.
in this game
I'm there with you, Shionne. I too
have
want
they
to protect the
displayed that
world we live in
Renans as a
and all
whole
the
are
people we care
redeemable
about.
people.
I think that's the very least I can do to repay
At least for
Naori
me. It might be different from everyone else is
everything that she
playing
did.
it.
Yeah.
I guess Naori
I
should
want a
count as
future
one
that
of
she
the
would
few
feel
people
proud to
that
live
were
in,
redeemable,
and I'm
right?
going to
So
fight
what? There's
for it.
her, Dohalim,
Well, there,
Shionne,
Savior
that
girl.
dude dating that
We're here to
Dahnan
save
lady.
You too, you know.
I'm
Yes, I
very
know.
hesitant to count Menacea as a whole because
Don't
they were
worry, I
forced to
haven't
do
forgotten.
that, and then they just kind of got
I
used
want
to it.
to live, and that's
And
the
they're
honest
still-
truth.
I mean, that still should count as something, though, right, Chronos? Fine, I guess. Very select
Well,
few
is everybody
Renans
ready
have
to do what
actually
needs to
showed
be done?
any sort of redemption
I
quality.
am. There's a lot to think about, but at the end of the day, Dahna's still in danger. I don't care who we're up against. We'll kick their ass.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts, Alphen? I want to know what's on your mind, too.
Crash Lennigus into Rena. Stops the
Like Law
wedge.
said,
Probably
we have
hurts
to
the Great
fight the Great
Spirit.
Spirit on Rena, and so be it. It's trying to rob us of our entire world, and it's going to take not just our home, but all of existence along with it. That alone is enough to make it our enemy. But it's not only that. One way or another, I think beating the Great Spirit is going to be tied to us saving Shionne.
Maybe.
You're
It
saying
seems
there's a
connected to
chance?
it.
You're referring to the vision of destruction we all saw in Lennigus, I take it?
Yeah. 3 centuries ago, the astral energy that appeared at the spirit channeling ceremony showed Naori that vision. And to hear Shionne tell it, it's the same one that she sees from her own thorns as well.
Indeed. Shionne's thorns are comprised of dark astral energy, the one type which we know is native only to Rena. And if Rena's great spirit is what's behind Dahna's pending destruction, then...
Shionne's thorns are the Great Spirit? It's not actually on Rena like we thought?
We don't know anything for certain. At the very least, though, I think it's possible her thorns are a part of the Great Spirit.
While the main
Part
body
seems
resides
more
in
likely
Rena.
than actually being the Great Spirit as a whole.
Shionne.
If these thorns really are a part of Rena's great spirit, I'm going to go over there and give it a piece of my mind and then some.
She means she's gonna shoot it.
The question is, how do we confront it? Suffice it to say, that flower growing out of Rena is enormous, large enough to house the will of an entire planet. The Wedge and Lenegis were both hard enough for us to overcome in their own right.
Not really.
This is an altogether greater challenge for merely 6.
And we only know about the Thorn's connection thanks to Naori.
Hevrect 35 has been observing the Great Astral Spirit this whole time. It wouldn't ask us to fight it unless it has a plan of some sort. Let's go see what that is.
Another thing that's kind of bothering me is the whole how
Our
I
minds
think it's
are made
today.
up. Let's go give Hevrect 35 our answer.
Yeah. The way they're acting about like the Renans, I don't know. It seemed to me like when they found out that the Renans were originally created by the Red People, the Great Spirit, from Dahnans, they seem like they're acting like it's still that way, right? At least that's what it's coming off to me as. They're like, oh, they're saying, oh, Renans and Dahnans are the same. I mean, not really. Back in the day, when they were first created, like the first batch of Renans, yeah, they would be literally just Dahnans that were modified. But as they breed and have children, they are their own people now. It's not like Dolheim's a Dahnan that was just genetically engineered to be a Renan. He is a Renan. Like, his parents were Renan, his grandparents were Renan. I'm assuming 300 years of ancestry before then, even more so, he's still a Renan. It's not like he's a Dahnan that was just engineered. It's kind of weird. They seem to be sticking to that point that, like, even today's Renans are just Dahnans that were engineered. That's not the case. They're just Renans. They started out as an engineered Dahnan, sure, but as generations gone on, they are just Renans. It's kind of
So
weird.
if the Sovereign and Maiden were originally boot-up programs for Lenegis, what about now?
Even with the Forbidden Zone in ruins and the Renis almost stolen, Lenegis is functioning fine. If it needed us before, it doesn't appear to now.
First they lumber you with a position you never asked for, then you're discarded like you're nothing? Who the hell do they think they are?
More
Renans?
importantly, who do
Sounds
they think
just
we
like
are?
'em.
We might not even factor into their list of concerns.
I just hope everyone on Lenegis is safe.
I could care less.
Worst comes to worst, Lenegis is equipped with a large number of starships that people can escape in. As long as the whole satellite doesn't suddenly explode or something, they should be fine.
Wait, explode?
In any case, if we're truly going to make a difference, it's on Rena we're needed, not Lenegis. The people there will be fine, I'm sure of it.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. Every time this game starts talking about, like, forgiveness, it, like, I don't know. It takes me out of the story so fucking hardcore. I'm really enjoying the game, don't get me wrong. But every time they start talking about, like, coexisting and shit like that, it is just straight up, it's almost childish how they start talking about it, in my opinion, obviously. You guys might think it's fun, that's cool too, but yeah, to me, it's just like this is really just childish, and it's kind of ruining a good story for the most part. Yeah, I don't know. If they had shown more Renans, like I mentioned the other time, they had shown like half the population of Renans were like totally against the whole what was going on in Dahna, I probably wouldn't feel this way, obviously. I'd be like, yeah, there's obviously just some shitty Renans that were taught wrong growing up and like are just shitty people in general that need to be shut up pretty much. But it's like that has never been the case. Even when we went to Lenegus, the first thing we heard was, "Totally, you're not associating yourself with," and then he got cut off. Like, okay, sure. I don't know, man. I don't know. I really don't. Where does this go? I have no idea where this goes. Oh, it's like a lookout? Viewing deck. Okay. Well, I was really hoping I'd get to a part where I could actually teleport back to Dahna and do some stuff. That does not seem to be the case, because that's it for this episode. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all next time. Have a great day.